Well, good evening, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. And welcome to the afternoon feeding frenzy, or should I say evening, because it's like 7 o'clock. Sorry, I've been on the road all day. On the road all damn day. Left this morning, drove on down the country, fixed some stuff from garbage disposal to two air conditioning drain lines, a stove. I just had to fix it all and drive back, and I'm going to go in here and actually make some beef tacos. Just something simple, something easy. But I want to check in because football is back, baby. Football is back. And I have great news for us Dallas Cowboys. First day of testing, came back with not any, zero, nada, nothing, no one, out of here. Nada. Cowboy player testing positive for COVID. I am surprised, I am elated, and I hope we can keep it that way. I look at it like this. Now that football is on, there's a whole lot of that free time that is now occupied. You know, you've got your virtual reality meeting, you got your practice, not a game now. You got your strength training and conditioning, you know, you got your homework and studying. That a lot of that time that we used to have is not there anymore. There's something to focus on. This is, you know, when you ended up going through ending OTAs until training camp, GMs and coaches and all that held their breath because it's like, you know, there's no guidance. You know, the school is out for summer and things can happen because, you know, people have free time. And it's great that with this free time that our players had, even though they had, you know, of course, practice and supposedly big keg parties at Dak Prescott's house, as TMZ basically described it as, and the workouts of things, that Zeke Elliott was the only one that we knew that actually tested positive at all, and of course now he's clear. So that is some freaking incredible news. The last count I had of players thus far that had opted out for the season, I think was 21, 22, and it may be more since I've been on the road. I may have missed that, so don't quote me. But the players have until the 3rd of August to decide if they're going to opt out. But if you're going to opt out, I would think that you'd say, you know what, I'm just not going to show up. Why would you show up for your physical and everything else and go through that if you're going to say, you know what, I'm good for this season? So if they haven't opted out already as far as Cowboys, and the big one we were worried about was D-Law, then that's great news. Now, as my buddy Greg put it, we know that Tyrone Crawford and Don Terry Poe both had surgery, both hips for Tyrone Crawford and stuff, and they're on the PUP list. Now, the reality is they haven't been able to work out with the trainers and things like that, so they're just beginning to, you know, really check these guys out and start getting them together. The reality is, pretty much for about the next 10 days, 2 weeks, I think actually until the 13th of August, it's going to be strength and training. Strength and training. They're not going to be practicing on the field until after the 13th. So this is a great time where they can get in 2 weeks of rehab and hopefully get them, you know, together, ready for the season. Today is Dak Prescott's birthday. And they got him. They got Dak. Oh. Check this clip out. They got my man Dak. Damn. Poor Dak. Poor Dak. Yeah. Now, what I want you to understand, and I want you to think about this, is as people keep trying to say that, you know, Dak Prescott, he wants to leave the Cowboys and he's angry and all that, and that he got screwed over by the organization and he's mad and this, that, and the other, and he's going to walk. You know, I'm going to ask, how many of you out there really love the company you work for? Seriously. How many of you say, you know what, I just love, my boss I just love my boss, man. They great people and everything else. How many of you really and truly have a company that you work for that you are just like, man, they're family. They are family. We are best buddies. Do you have a job? If you do, I'm happy for you. But I can't say that I know a lot of people that are really happy with the people above them. I just don't. I think it's partially human nature, because no matter what happens, you always feel underappreciated at a job. You do. I'm serious. I work for myself and I feel underappreciated. I really do. My boss, he's an asshole. That's me. But you always feel underappreciated and feel like you do everything for the company, and the company doesn't respect you, and they definitely don't pay you enough. So I'm going to ask you, why would you think that's any different for Dak Prescott or any of the players on the field? Because the NFL is like any other job. You know how at your job, hopefully you have some buddies at work. Hey, what's up, Stan? Stan. Stan might be, he might be a fan of another team. And so, he might be a fan of that Washington football team. And when they lose, you ride and Stan. Yeah, Stan, I got you. It may be kind of like The Office where you are, pranking each other. It's nothing but, we kid because we love. But those guys that you do all that work in, you get together, man, that mother humper, the boss, man, I can't stand that. So, screw this company. You know what I'm saying? You know that goes on at your company. Right now, you're trashing your company right now. You're trashing your company right now. So don't act like it don't happen. But your boys, your clique at work, that's your people. You might, after work, go out and have a few drinks and things like that. Go to a club and hang out, company picnics. That's your clique. And you'll ride and die with those guys. Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott. You see the love that those players have for Dak Prescott. In fact, I will say the Dallas Cowboys as a whole. The thing that's always amazing to me is the Dallas Cowboys don't have to put in their contracts off-season workout bonuses. You know why? Because all these guys live in the area. All these guys hang out and want to work out together. See, you don't have that in Green Bay. You don't have that in Green Bay. You have to pay guys to come in for off-season workouts. They don't want to be there. And that's the case in most places in the NFL. The idea and the concept of really being teammates in a team is not the same. Aaron Rodgers, incredible player. He's the bad man. But as far as being a teammate, as far as him being there in the off season, he's not. And that's where you hear, little rumbles and things from players and stuff that maybe he's not the best guy in the locker room, that maybe he's a little more arrogant. You don't get that with Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. These guys, they support each other. One has an event, they all go to it. They have a community event, fundraiser, they all support it. They work out together. They are there constantly like a family. So when you look at this locker room and you think about how the Cowboys and Dak Prescott, you've never, ever heard anything like what you have about Carson Wentz. Where Carson Wentz is a little arrogant, a little strong-headed and so forth. And there's some problems click-wise. You see Lyle Collins pouring that water on top of his head, okay? You see Zeke Elliott throwing those M&Ms and stuff. You see them with their posters and stuff. You actually look at these guys and say, they're a family. And this actually gives me hope for this team for the season. Because what it's going to have to take to make it through the season is You got to understand, it's not enough for me just to be a great football player. Yeah, if I'm a great football player for myself, I'm going to get paid unless you're Dak Prescott. But what you have to understand is you are in that foxhole together with your teammates now. That everything you do more than ever affects the rest of the team around you. And that's where I think these guys are going to look and say, you know what? We in this shit together. We got to handle our business. We got to make sure that we don't put ourselves out there. And I think you've seen a maturity, a maturation of these guys over the years, especially with Zeke Elliott, where you don't see them out doing things, where, off season, where you have guys that are constantly in trouble. You now have TMZ, instead of having stuff fall in their lap that's happened, where they're trying to go out and create things that are happening to be able to talk about the Cowboys. And this is huge. And I think that this is one of those things that may pay dividends on this season, whatever season we may have. Just the fact that the Cowboys have pretty much everybody reporting without COVID on a shortened preseason, actually no preseason games, on a shortened training camp, on an off season where there has been no OTAs, that the familiarity and that teammate desire and all of them being there will be an advantage. As opposed to when you look at some teams that may have some players that are on the commissioner's exempt list and can't practice for a couple of weeks. As opposed to some of these teams that have lost key players because they've decided, I'm going to opt out. This is good things for the Cowboys. And I'm happy about it. And I know the fish would be happy if I would shut up and feed them. I'm coming, guys. I'm coming. No respect. No respect. Say hello to the guy. Say hello to my friends over here, guys. Oh, let me move the camera. You can see it. There we go. What's up, guys? How you doing? How you doing? Feeding frenzy. I know I've been gone all day. I know I've been gone. Hey, Hey, Splash. I know you're hungry. You want to just show me some love. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, that's it. All right. Here you go, guys. They're really splashing the heck out of me. There you go. Whew. Tell you what, the great thing about fish, you don't have to clean up poop. No doggy bags. I'm Mark Holmes, and I'll see you guys later.